guess I mean, it's interesting if you look at a lot of the business models, we're connecting two people. Every business model is you guys look at it, they're all different. And a lot of us are, actually, they're very similar. We're trying to connect two people together, as most business models. We're connecting nonprofits with donors, connecting customers with businesses, music lessons with students. But always the biggest challenge is figuring out either your business model that's scalable and provides value. I think that's the aha moment. It's not about what industry it's in. It's like, take lessons. I know it's gone through some iterations, and then they've really figured it out based on pricing and some bunch of other factors. But a lot of times it's that constant tweaking every single month. And the biggest challenge is finding sustainability. Because if you don't find sustainability, because raising money gets you from point A to point B. But if you want point A to like N, you need to find sustainability, which is how do I provide enough value so someone pays for it? And I think Lars put that right. I mean, they've built a growth business that has grown organically. And we actually have not got to that point. Even though some of us have raised more capital, a lot of us haven't got to the point where we can one day say, we don't need another dollar, and we will grow as long as we want to do this. So that's always, I think, the challenge.
Yeah, I would just add to that, finding who your target customer is a big challenge of ours, and we're constantly trying to find exactly who that is. There's 1.5 million nonprofits in the United States, so originally we just thought that all of them were our target customer, and that's not necessarily true. It took years really for us to understand that a certain type of segment of the nonprofit industry really would get the most value out of our product in the short term and would provide that ROI that we'd be able to charge for, and we'd have a sustainable and scalable business. So that took a long time, and we're still tweaking it every single month. We're changing our pricing and figuring out how can we optimize this for scale. So I would definitely agree. That's something that was a continuous challenge for us.
Let me ask you a question. You guys all, it's very clear and very obvious you all work very hard. You've worked very hard to get your companies where they are today, and for a lot of people, that company becomes their life. If you don't mind, I'll start with you, Lars. What is your outlet? What do you do when you're not at work? What is the thing that allows you to escape and lead a somewhat normal life?
It's funny because I just met a gentleman, Jim, here before this.
Well, that's trouble. You met Jim.
Yeah,
right there. You got
he said something really funny. He said, when you're an entrepreneur, you get to work half days. You get to choose the 12 hours you want to work. And it's kind of true. Yeah. I don't know. For me personally, I mountain bike and play hockey and do other things to get myself away from computers, because otherwise they will suck you in and possess you for your entire life, and you'll never leave your office. But
true.
Yeah, I think it is, having that work-life balance is really important, and it doesn't matter what you do, where you are in your business organization. I mean, it's important, and especially as an entrepreneur, when you're having to deal with things that happen 24/7, you have to figure out ways to disconnect. So yoga helps that too. There's a lot of different things. I think it's just you take time to take care of yourself. And I think that's what makes it sustainable. Because if you don't, you'll burn out. It won't be free.
Good point.
Yeah, I think that was, a lot of us can probably testify the first 2 years, you try to work around the clock, you figure it's going to push the needle, and then probably this year is the first year, and I started thinking, gosh, working all the time, but what am I doing past 5 or 6 p.m. that's actually driving revenue or driving customers? And started putting things in place where I'm like, I'll work 8 to 6. So there's nights where you'll work and put in the extra time if you have to do a proposal or a contract or do something that really needs to be done. But it's amazing when you actually start committing to even some personal time, whether it be working out or going to the gym or going for a run or just going to dinner with friends. It amazes, your brain will actually switch and start being smarter, I think, because you're not what I call the blinders. You have your blinders on when you're in your office. When you get out of your office, you get exposed to new things. Maybe it's talking to advisors and stuff like that. You got to put in your time. I think it's important to work a lot, but when you're early stage, you're modeling it, but it's with the right people. And then once you start kind of figuring things out, it's also important not to work so that your brain can rest, because your brain will get tired. I think 3 years in is when you start getting really your brain just like, oh, I can't do it anymore. You want to do it, so you got to start feeding your body and being healthy, eating right, and all those kind of things that are obvious, but it makes your business better.
I have a simple motto, and that is incredible experiences with incredible people. And so it's kind of built within my everyday, daily, weekly, monthly calendar that I have my work time, and I give it full force on that. And when it's playtime, I give it full force on that as well. You know, in our office, we have a jam room where you can come in and play music all day. Not that the people do in their office, but you know, after 6 o'clock, they do quite a bit. And there's a lot of outlets like that, working out, those sorts of things. And you need to do that, like you said, it kind of helps, you know, keep refreshed. One of the best, you know, we closed a big deal with Best Buy where we're physically teaching inside Best Buy stores now, and that happened when I was at the gym on a treadmill and listening to CNBC when the students started talking about it from Best Buy, about how they were going to do that. And so just because I'm in the gym out working out, you can actually work on your business as well. And so that's a really cool thing to do. But I'll also add that I absolutely love working. I totally admit it. I totally dig the idea of building a world-class organization. And I know I get excited by doing that. So my work-life balance is probably a little bit different because I just totally love coming to work every day. I do. So
There's nothing wrong with that.
You know, I think we've made all of the errors when it comes to work-life balance, probably collectively amongst the crew, as well as forced work-life balance. I actually have an apartment in the same building as the office, which sounds great for those of you who commute, and it sounds horrible for those of you who have done it. Because there is no way to leave, right? But at the same time, you have to force yourself to leave, and also enable an organization and enable a culture. Like our creative director, Dawn, who's actually in the audience today, is also a yoga instructor. So she'll take the team up on the roof in the morning for yoga, which we need to do a lot more often. But it's great to have, you know, a group of folks that help each other make sure that they go out and do something that balances them. Because everyone, you know, we live in a culture where the rewards are to the people that never sleep, theoretically. They're you know, the push, you know, go. And then people don't realize that they're probably only optimally, you know, working, thinking for a certain period of that time. And if they're applying that to other things and not to your career and your job and what you're working on, then it's different. So you want to make sure that when people are focused, they're focused on building the business.
yeah, I think I'm gonna have to take some advice from these guys because I'm still working on the whole work-life balance thing myself. No, I mean, I think because we're so plugged in with technology, it's really hard to stay off email and do these other things. And I try to make a rule for myself to not work on at least Saturdays, one day out of the week, and then hold it to Sunday night. So at least having some sort of constraint there helps. But you know, it's just it definitely is a lot of work, and you put in long nights. But we have such a fantastic team, and we're so passionate about what we're doing that, I mean, I agree with Stephen. I love to be in the office. I think I just had a son recently, about 6 months ago, and that was probably the one defining moment that made me realize, okay, I really have to put some things in place here so I can actually leave the office. But yeah, no, it's fun if you're passionate about something, you love it, and it's just as good as golfing or surfing or doing something else for me. I mean, I just love being there.